if I'm not wearing sunscreen and I walk outside, within 15 seconds I can feel my skin burning.
My bones are very brittle, so I just need to be very careful.
RTS is Rothmund-Thomson syndrome. It is a genetic mutation in the 8th chromosome of our DNA that mainly affects your skin and your bones.
Rothmund-Thomson syndrome has very much affected our lives personally, with our son Van being diagnosed at 15 months.
It's an autosomal recessive disorder, so you need two inherited genes that don't function at capacity to have RTS.
The mother and the father have to have 2 mutated genes.
His dad and I are both carriers, and he's got a mutation on his RECQL4 gene.
25% chance that your child can have it if the mother and the father are a carrier. It is an extremely rare genetic disorder that impacts roughly around 500 people worldwide. It is something that's in their DNA, and he will have it for the rest of his life. And that was one thing that was very hard to cope with, was when he was diagnosed, is that there is no cure for Rothmund-Thomson syndrome.
RTS is a skin and bone disease that makes my bones brittle and very fragile. So I have to be careful with going out in the sun because it could damage and irritate my skin.
It's an aging and cancer predisposition disease. It affects basically skin, bones, digestive systems.
It mostly affects the way that her bones have formed. She's smaller in stature. She has these beautiful rosy red cheeks.
The rash doesn't appear until they're usually 3 months old. So when he was born, he had no rash. He was just very small, which does seem to be another thing typical of the RTS. He was perfect and fine, but he was just very small. His brothers were 9 pounds, and he came out 5 pounds.
Some of the challenges I run into is like being out in the sun. I have to be a lot more careful out in the sun so I don't get burnt. So I'm always putting sunscreen on. I have long sleeve shirts.
Most people need the sun, but we're not really able to go out in the sun. Don't get any benefit from it.
I can't be out in the sun for too long or else I start to overheat. I get sick pretty easily. It gets very annoying at times.
We can easily get sunburn and cancer from the sun.
Ever since I was a little kid, I've been going to the dermatologist and getting like precancerous spots burned off on different parts of my body just from being exposed to the sun too much. Been a month that I take off of work and I go get like 100 spots burned off of me. I'll get sunburnt with sunscreen on, and if I'm staying in the shade, like within 30 minutes. Unfortunately, if you're not cautious, it can have some pretty deadly consequences.
So I have to put sunscreen on and wear this jacket that everybody else doesn't have to. And they have to wear hats. People ask me like a lot, why are your cheeks red? And I don't really know how to explain it.
I'd say the number one, just for me personally, would be like confidence. Just looking different, throughout life, especially in school as a kid, you're constantly reminded that you look different.
Like when I'm at school, there are like people staring sometimes. Most of the time people ask you like, hey, what's wrong with your face? Why is your face redder? And I just try to explain what RTS is. Or I just I just have a skin condition, and then move on from there.
Skin is a big factor with RTS because their skin is a layer thinner. What you actually see is blood vessels coming through the cheeks and the arms. Our biggest challenge so far has been osteosarcoma. He was diagnosed with that when he was 10, which is bone cancer. He went through chemo and many surgeries for 58 weeks. Now we are 11 years on the other side of that.
Lane has a rash on his cheeks. It's a little red.
On his cheeks first, kind of went to his arms then, and then it's now a little bit on his calves too.
The lifestyle that we've developed for him and accepted, and that's just part of who he is, and it's second nature at this point.
So Van was born pretty small, full term. He was 4 pounds, 11 ounces, and right from the beginning he had issues, mostly GI issues. He experienced more of the rash that they called poikiloderma, and it spread to his cheeks, the backs of his arms, his legs. A lot of the RTS kids also don't sweat normal, so being in the sun really does affect her differently because she overheats really easily.
We try really hard to just provide her with a very normal life. We try not to focus on the fact that she's a little bit different. She can go on and she can live an amazing, normal life, getting married, having babies, having a family. She will always have to worry about having certain types of cancers. As a child, it'll be osteosarcoma. But as they get older, it kind of evolves into other cancers. So cancer screening will always be a major part of her life, unfortunately.
With RTS, there's like multiple symptoms, but then there's varying degrees with every patient.
She just got her feeding tube out this summer, and so she's 12, so she had it in for 11 years. Medical stuff basically took over our lives. I was like a 24-hour caregiver. With her feeding tube, she was basically hooked up to a pump, and in the beginning we had to feed her so often because she could only tolerate like formula going in so slow or she would throw up.
Your life just gets turned upside down. It's a whirlwind. Once your child gets diagnosed, you kind of go through this process. There's so many emotions that you're going through: anger, guilt, shame, but then you also find hope. You can see other kids that have lived really fulfilling lives.
Yeah, just having RTS hasn't put like any limits on me. I can go get a job. I can go do the things I want to do. I just gotta be more like careful out in the sun. But besides that, I mean, I'm no different than anyone else. Just keep your head up and don't let anyone tell you what you can and can't do.
Just be loud and be proud, because it doesn't matter what you look like. It just matters if you be who you are.
Take things slow, go at your own pace, find out what you can, and just take your time. Don't try to rush through it, and do the best that you can.
I know a lot of people in the RTS community have been told, oh, it's eczema, and it's like, no, it's not, it's something different. Like, you interact with your child every day, these doctors don't. Really encourage parents to do their own research, be proactive, and be the best advocate they can be.
You have to advocate, and if you have a gut feeling that something isn't right, you just have to go with that gut feeling and advocate.
We found the foundation, the RTS Foundation, back in 2018 when we were searching for answers and our son finally got diagnosed. And it really became a lifeline and support group for us. We were able to find other parents that were going through similar situations and kind of just bounce ideas off them, what their treatment plans look like for their child.
I enjoy coming to these RTS conferences just to meet everyone, and it definitely helped me out seeing the community come together. But it's nice to come together and be like, hey, you're not alone.
Being at the conference has been amazing because she's able to meet her peers in her everyday life. She doesn't get to see kids that look like her.
And it's nice to know that I'm not alone, and I have other people and kids that I can talk to who have similar situations and just interact and be with other people.
This conference, I would say, is more impactful for Mia because now she's an adult.
Yeah.
It was really cool to come to the last 2 conferences and see kids of all ages and even adults that have the disease, and it's really inspiring because it's like, man, there's at least, you know, a common goal and a driving force for more research and awareness for people like me, and I appreciate that. I consider it a huge blessing.
I do think it's helpful because I get to learn a lot more stuff than I did before and just make some new friends. Like, I've made lots of new friends with like people that are just like me. So I think it's such a cool experience and it makes lots of good memories.
Really, our goal is to raise money to have more research done so that we can understand even more about what RTS is.
In my mind, I always thought, okay, it's a rare disease, there's going to be tons of money and tons of research, and it is the polar opposite. It's like the more obscure it is, the harder it is to fund because they want to help the thousands and the millions. They don't want to help the hundreds.
Any money that is donated to the RTS Foundation goes directly to families like ours for diagnosis, for research, for, we have these caring and sharing conferences, and, we'll pay for hotel rooms for new families to come and participate and just give information, share information.
And then the other side of that is going to be the medical research. Having that medical advisory board is extremely important for our foundation so that we can have an easy outlet or an easy line of direct communication to oncologists or dermatologists for any questions that we might have.
We've only touched the surface, and there's much more to uncover